Hey everyone, Andrew Post with NewGen Advisory here. I want to talk real briefly about how interest rates can and will have an effect on your sale price if you're a seller, as well as your profit margin if you're a buyer. So if we think directly about how an interest rate is going to have an effect on your bottom line, you got to think about what the debt service coverage ratio is that the lender requires. So the debt service coverage ratio is very simple. Typically, you're looking at about a 1.3 for debt service coverage ratio. Some lenders will be a little lower, some will be a little bit higher. All that really means is if my debt payment is $100,000 a year, I need to have an NOI, a net operating income of the property, of $130,000 in order for the lender to want to finance it. As a seller, you need financing on the table. If you don't have financing on the table, or if the property is not financeable, you will sacrifice pricing, because then your buyers are those looking at bridge loans, private loans, cashing it out, or having you be the lender. All of those scenarios will hurt your pricing. You want as many buyers on the table as possible. You want the property financeable. Now, as a buyer, let's say that a year ago, your interest rate was 6.5 or 7%. Now, if you're looking at SBA or USDA, that adds about 2%. So if we're adding 2% on a, let's call it a $2 million loan, just in interest charges, you're talking north of $40,000, or you're talking $40,000 a year. That's $3,500 or $3,400 a month that you're not making a profit directly to interest charges. So that's another thing that you gotta recalculate or recalibrate your thinking. How am I gonna make sure that this is gonna remain profitable for me? So that's one thing to consider. The easy figure to look at on a debt service coverage ratio is 1.3. Any other questions? There's a lot of moving parts on this, but if you do have questions, feel free to reach out to your lender, ask them specifically and come up with specific examples. How are the rates affecting my bottom line as a buyer and my bottom line as a seller? Hope this is helpful. Thank you very much.